Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR 2. Which conspiracy theory is so believable that it might be true? Just watch this on American Crime Story on Netflix. They show this exact moment you mention, where he was handed the bag and I never considered this. Explains why he had such conflicted feelings throughout the process. U2.be there ya go. Short video showing it in visual detail. I forget where I originally saw this, but it was a pretty convincing breakdown. Only a true friend would do 20 years of MCLE just to serve on his defense team. Good luck getting a judge to sign that off, especially on such a high-profile case. Lawyer here. Wouldn't be that hard at all. If you had credible evidence, you have a right to an attorney. You don't have a right to a specific attorney. I'm not very educated on this case. Would you mind giving me a rundown of why it is considered so badly handled? This should give you an overview without getting too technical. My law school professors would point out how Barry Scheck worked on O.J. Simpson's defense team, and he was largely responsible for discrediting the DNA evidence. While Cochran, Shapiro, and Bailey were appearing on the cable news channels and at fashionable parties and restaurants, Scheck was grabbing fast food and going back to learn about DNA. It was still new at the time, and the forensic evidence in the case, so he could effectively cross-examine the prosecution, witnesses, and explain DNA, forensic evidence in a way the jury could understand. My evidence professor said Scheck basically outworked the prosecution. Bear in mind, I started law school in the late 1990s, so the so-called trial of the century was still fresh in everyone's memory, and academic studies of the investigation and trial were at the natal stage. However, my professor's statement stuck with me and has proved to be very good advice. I totally agree. One juror who was interviewed afterwards said something to the effect of, I didn't understand their DNA stuff, so I assumed it wasn't important. Has anyone ever made like search Reddit website app? The search function is so bad that I literally type query Reddit into Google. Site reddit.com query is even better. Except then on mobile. See this post, Reddit app. Open, browser, continue, almost every freaking time. God, it's so awful. I just Google whatever and put Reddit after edit. Holy crap, gold and silver. Now what do I do with this? Thank you, kind stranger. Google the phrase you want to find on Reddit and then enter site reddit.com to only get Reddit posts. Edit. Here is a Siri shortcut to make this simpler. Edit. Somebody gave me the idea, so that you can dictate the search terms. Edit. Oh sir, my first gold shall be for useful information and not a bad joke. Happened around Christmas. You might be right. That'd make sense. I mean, some of the stuff they say is just crazy lol. They act so insane and overly petty at times, I can almost believe this one. I can't believe my most upvoted comment is just a passive remark that basically restates the post. Which is why it meets the criteria of the AskReddit question. Nah, you would have to be smart to do this. The people at PETA are outright idiots and would not be smart enough to pull this off. Ooh, it's working. That the government made this post to see if we were onto them. D_210 was never seen again. In other words, Disney just wants us to let it go. Wait, it was Frozen. And Family Guy. There's a cutaway where they unfreeze him, and when he finds out the Jews aren't dead yet, he gets put back. Cops go on ways and leave random police sightings to cause people to slow without actually having to stay and check on people. Michael Jordan's first retirement was actually a suspension by the NBA because of his gambling. Are you telling me that Space Jam lied to me and Jordan didn't love and want to play baseball more than basketball his whole life? The real reason Apple removed the headphone jack was to try to remove Square Pay Systems as a competitor for Apple Pay. Edit. First gold comment. Thanks, guy. Couldn't they just make a model that uses the charging port though? They would still take a hit in users having to buy a new card reader though, I guess. That doesn't make any frickin' sense. The people using Apple Pay, the consumers, aren't the same people using Square, the merchants. Rob Gronkowski didn't actually injure his groin after scoring his 69th career touchdown. He just thought it would be funny, appropriate. MLB pitcher Brandon McCarthy retired with 69 wins and a 4.20 ERA. Truly living the dream. Well, he did intentionally miss a free throw at the end of a game in high school basketball so that his team would finish with 69 points. If somehow Leos aren't using Snapchat to create a facial recognition database, they're missing out, and I doubt they'd let a service with millions of people posting their own faces go to waste. Yeah, even your scoring tests like CAPTCHA are used to train AI. Lotteries are actually traps for time travelers. Stephen Hawking already held a party for time travelers, and no one showed up. I've seen it on there a long time ago. Any chance someone has a link to it? $10,000 for a hammer. $20,000 for a toilet seat. Or they're mainly in urban core neighborhoods with more expensive land. Past for conspiracy theories, not facts. There were no further notable Cooper imitators until July 11, 1980, when Glenn K. Tripp seized Northwest Flight 608 at Seattle-Tacoma Airport, demanding $600,000, $100,000 by an independent account, 2 parachutes, and the assassination of his boss. However, a quick-thinking flight attendant had secretly drugged Tripp's alcoholic beverage with Valium. After a 10-hour standoff, during which Tripp reduced his demands to 3 cheeseburgers and a head start on getting away, he was apprehended. This could be a movie. Okay, well, give you a 10-second head start. I always liked the idea that DB survived the jump and simply went back to work on Monday as if nothing happened. Cooper had such a non-scripted nondescript. But you never know. Dude might have been really into improv. Face that he probably could have pulled it off. I did not jump out of a plane. It's not true. It's bullcrap. I did not jump out of a plane. I did not. Oh, hi Mark. She went to the mothership, bro. She's with Master Chief on the Pillar of Autumn, bro. Similarly, if you are raided by Jehovah's Witnesses, best to say you were one but quit and were shunned, or were disfellowshipped, before you finish sentence. They will be running away, never to return. They are forbidden from talking with expats, because higher-ups fear they have 2 good arguments. Is there a way to do this with Mormons? We have a group of 20 that canvass our neighborhood. They're very polite in conversation, but I want them to stop coming to the door. I've said no thanks a dozen times at least. And my husband even talked to them, discussing apologetics, twice, and they won't stop. Edit. We know for a fact that they're Mormons. They're 18 to 20-year-old boys in black pants, white shirts and name tags. They come to the door in pairs and call themselves missionaries. And like I said above, my husband has talked to them about the falsities of their religion. We know what they're selling. Former Mormon missionary here. By far the most effective thing to say is, I don't want to be rude, but we're really not interested. And our door gets knocked on by you guys too much. We prefer to be left alone, thanks. Although often it's not us and people mistakenly think it is. There is only one set of missionaries in a geographical area at any given time. People would tell me that they've had their door knocked multiple times in the last few months when I knew for a fact I hadn't been in that area during that time. Edit. Also, I just read your comment more carefully. If you've got a group of 20 that canvass your neighborhood, that's not Mormons. It's most likely Jehovah's Witnesses. Mattress firms aren't only holding mattresses, buddy. There is a frame store in my town that has really weird hours. Only open a few days a week. Also seems like a great opportunity for money laundering. How is a store with almost no business a good front for money laundering? I would think a busy store would be better. I also know very little about money laundering. So, no, the amount of business is irrelevant because you're reporting your earnings for tax reasons. The IRS is not gonna check up on how many cars are in your parking lot or your store hours. What you want is transactions where it is easy to lie about the business you're doing. The service industry is therefore a really good choice. Think about Walt's car wash in Breaking Bad. They launder money there because you have cash transactions and who's to say how many cars you washed as the cars drive off. And they're essentially nominal exchanges of goods. Another approach is to have transactions with huge ranges of overhead like a mattress store or a frame store. You can buy a nicer frame and frame something for $100. But you can also get a custom framing job at a store that can run a few thousand. With that range, it's harder to detect irregularities in income because there is legitimately a huge variability in transactions. After reading about this on Reddit, I got to thinking. Once I needed a new bed, I decided to check it out. I went in and was approached by two salesmen. They had this $1,499 mattress that I really liked. The sales guy saw the twinkle in my eye and knew that I must have this mattress. I told him I liked it but I needed something more budget-friendly. I was a broke butt at the time. He then said, well, we can do this one here on the floor for $950. I told him, to be honest, I only have $400 to spare. He says, hold on a minute while I make a call. Then comes out and says, okay, we can do $400. Just come back in an hour while we prep it. I left, came back, and they even helped me lift it up my truck. Honestly, the best mattress I've ever owned. I get compliments all the time. Edit. My top comment is about a freaking mattress now. I love Reddit. I believe it's pulled out of his butt. _redacted _ edit remove edit to not the CIA. Here's an actual list of proven conspiracies. Goddamn, that's freaking terrifying. After reading just a few of those, I would rather want the Earth to be flat. Agreed. I particularly find the Clinton one interesting. She intentionally brought Trump to the forefront of the election in an attempt to make herself look better. Honestly, that was a really smart plan. Wanting Trump as a frontrunner makes sense, as he seemed like a beatable opponent. The most troubling part of that bullet point is that the Clinton camp told the media to take certain candidates seriously. Like, YTF are they telling the media anything? And YTF is it not even a question that the media will just listen? Some crap is hard to hide. Like aeroplanes. If you're testing it, people are sure as hell going to see it. Start something about UFOs. A few nuts will see your plane and say it's UFOs. Normal people will dismiss the nuts. If a normal person sees a plane, they will think it's something else, or not share it to avoid being a nut. One of my favorites is that the government was behind #Throwback Thursday in order to get us to digitize and upload pictures that they would not have had access to in order to improve age progression, facial recognition algorithms. Or Facebook wanting the data for the same reason. If you watch 30 Rock, Jack references Clinton's sex plane several times. This is without a doubt an Epstein reference. Technically, it has not been proven true that Epstein was running a sex trafficking ring for the rich and powerful. We have a lot of allegations from the girls, but nothing more than that. No emails or DNA evidence confirming it. However, we have evidence that the trial was handled as poorly and incompetently as possible, to the point that you have to wonder if it was done on purpose to hide crap. Multiple football World Cups have been influenced either by governments hosting them, or other entities out for their own gain. 2002 South Korea, Japan and 1978 in Argentina are the two most obvious ones that come to mind. Tagging on to this, UEFA fixed matches. Look at Everton vs Villarreal in 2005. Kalina comes out of retirement to referee a match with dubious decisions just so England doesn't have 5 teams in the finals of the Champions League. Or Arsenal's round of 16 draws in the Champions League seeming to always have been Bayern or Barca. I'm sure Chelsea fans would also have something to say about the semi-finals of the Champions League in 2005 and 2009. FIFA is absolutely the most corrupt organization in sports. IOC is up there too. Long John Silver's is some kind of money laundering scheme on the basis that they have been open for as long as I can remember, but I have also literally never seen a busy Long John's. Toxic delusion that I ironically entertain. Perhaps. You clearly didn't grow up in a white trash family. LJS is a poor man's Red Lobster. We would eat fast food almost every night when I was growing up. And maybe once a month get LJS. It was a treat. Now that was interesting. Thanks for putting the time into that. The oil and coal industries invested heavily in killing off nuclear power is an attractive alternative. These days we have reactor designs many times safer than other methods of generating power. And the waste issue is something that could be fixed with sufficient investment. The government experiments on the mentally insane because no one will believe someone with that kind of medical history. I feel like people overlook the fact that the government actually did experiments on Americans and fricked at least one of them up so bad that he moved to the middle of the woods and started mailing bombs to people. Thinking face, never thought I'd want mail from the Unabomber. Bob Vance was just trying to plug his business to the cameras every time he introduced himself. Kevin played dumb and was actually embezzling and or laundering money. The editor behind Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 worked to make the film sync up perfectly with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Edit. Audio is from Till Death Do Us Blart, from the McElroy brothers. Check out all of their projects at the McElroy family. Now the real conspiracy is that Pink Floyd discovered a universal rhythm that all human beings unknowingly create, and which is why so many different pieces of media sync up with DSOTM. Stay woke. Edit. Guys, I was joking. Funny enough, he once told supporters that, if his own children were found to be dealing in drugs, they should be executed. Not long after, one of his children was found to be involved with a big shipment of cocaine. IRC. Still alive. I may be shaky on some of the details here, but I remember reading this on Duterte's Wikipedia page. I'm at work. We'll find the source later if anyone is interested. Edit. Thanks to everyone who has posted sources in the comments. I got some of the details wrong. Meh, not coke, etc. But the gist is accurate. Also, Duterte had a past drug issue with fentanyl that nobody really knows if he's clean from, and apparently smokes weed. Vaccines are flat, and the earth causes autism. Edit. I forgot to say, 7-Eleven was an outside job. Edit 2, 7-Eleven was not a part-time job. Sheeple. That's what they want you to think. Totally. The dead Kennedy just doesn't sound good. I believe it kind of, but I don't think she died. I feel like she was just a kid who didn't want to be in the public eye anymore and made a deal with her friend. I mean, it could all be bullcrap, but I could buy that more. Gary Stephen Webb. This guy literally died of a 2 shots to the head suicide. en.wikipedia.org. Thanks, mate. Now I know for sure the CIA follows me. Hello there, you bastards. Thanks for watching LWIAR 2. The best of all time r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out the original LWIAR channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe.